Well, good evening, everyone. This is Keith with Positively Osceola. Happy Wednesday. And I know that it's Wednesday because I looked up and it said Wednesday on my computer, therefore confirming that I could say it without fear of erroring. So I went for it. So we've got some cool people here tonight. We had fun last time, and so we had to do it again. And I'm thinking we'll probably have fun tonight, have to do this again. And it is a blessing to do so. We'll do it quick around the room, but we're going to, just as people start figuring out we're here, I've got Barb Cardesi, let's see, that way. It's all backwards. Carolyn Cienciata, to what looks to be my right, and Peter right beneath me, and then Debbie over that way. That's not bad. So how you guys all doing?
Doing great.
Doing well.
Thank you.
Hope everybody's feeling well and families are healthy and all that fun stuff.
So far, so good. Thank you.
It's a good thing, right?
Yes, everybody's well. Thank God.
Amazing that we probably never asked that enough in just a normal year, but I'm glad we get to at least do that. So, got some people popping out. Let's go ahead and make this official, and we'll just kind of kick it off and have some fun. All right?
Okay, sounds good.
The cool coffee intro is a must. You know, I claimed it. So again, thanks for coming, you guys. And we had a lot of fun. And the best part about it, when we do these things, is to be able to speak to people in so many different in different ways. And, life is so varied. It's like the old adage. We're better together. And so I love being able to meet people and talk to people about what their interests are and what their loves and passions are. And it's that's certainly for tonight. So we are actually with folks that are part of the Sons and Daughters of Italy in America. And that is what we're talking about tonight. And there's so much to that. But you certainly don't want me specifically talking about that. And again, Bob, in that direction, in the middle, commanding the moment. So you're Bob. You're actually the Osceola Lodge president, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And if I'm correct, now Carolyn Cienciata, she is the former state president, correct?
State president, yes.
Nailed it. And then I'll let you guys talk about all the other titles that exist on the panel tonight. So why don't we we'll go ladies first over the top. So Carolyn, why don't you kind of explain what your organization does. And Peter was talking about the enormity of it earlier, so maybe we can just talk a little bit about people who may not know what your organization is all about. Just give them kind of a feel for it.
Okay. Well, this is a national organization. We are a fraternal organization that raises money strictly to give to charities. The local lodge, which is Osceola County Lodge, we try to give our charity money to local charities such as Alzheimer's, cancer, autism. We do Help Now. We do children that need dresses for our proms and things like that. So, but again, it is national. So we have scholarships all over the United States. They give out scholarships. In the state of Florida, there are 30 lodges approximately, and they do go from Key West all the way up to Pensacola, to the Panhandle. So there are quite a few around. So if you're not living in Osceola County, but you still want to join the Sons and Daughters of Italy, we have plenty of places for you to choose from. We raise, and as I said, just money just strictly for charities. We give it away. So we have a lot of functions that we enjoy doing. And we invite everybody we know to come to the functions. And when they do, we make sure they are fed well. We make sure they have a great time. They laugh, we talk, and the money that we raise, we give away. And that's basically what we do. And we work to keep our heritage alive. Everybody knows Italian food, Italian music, Italian art. And that's what we do. We want to know that, and we want everybody to know how involved we are with our heritage. And it's very important to us. You don't have to be Italian to join this organization. You just have to love Italian things. And that's what we ask. So that's basically sums it up in a nutshell, Keith.
I don't think you can discuss Italy for some reason where food doesn't come up. I'm not sure how you get past that. It's just something that happens, and
That's right.
that's a good thing. So, Bob, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Osceola Lodge? Because obviously, the majority of folks that typically are listening to us and viewing are going to be somewhere around Osceola County, in and around 20 miles out. So, give us the lowdown about what the local lodge looks like.
Our local lodge has approximately 50 to 55 members strong. Last year, we gave out a $2,000 scholarship. The year before, we gave out 3 $1,000 scholarships. And it depends on, that usually is driven by the number of applicants we get and how many students we're able to help out. We're in the middle of a fundraiser right now to help boost those efforts. Thanksgiving's around the corner. We do a lot for help now around the Thanksgiving season. This year, we're hoping, it was one of my goals this year to do something around Christmas time. With everything going on, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do that.
Sure.
We do have that on our agenda to try to do something, for the community in that regard. Like I said, we're about 50 to 55 members, and we're growing. He's a new member. We're about to install her probably in the next couple of 3 weeks. We've got several new members. Even within a pandemic, we were able to pick up probably 4 or 5 new members, and still working on various potential members. And it's not just we want you to become a member. We want you to become a member to be part of the community, and we do a lot of different things. Carolyn and I have done a visit to Royal St. Cloud nursing facility, and we brought cookies, and that was right at the beginning of this. And then throughout the summer, Carolyn, Tony, myself, Bert Dories, we made several contributions to the Board of Health of Gatorade to give to their workers and their volunteers that were doing COVID testing. So we've been, even though it doesn't sound like a lot, those contributions and those donations meant a lot for the 100 and something volunteers that, were able to have a Gatorade in the middle of 100 and something degree weather on a July day when they're out there sweating it, trying to get COVID testing done. So it's about giving back. I think even though it's still a tough time for people, I think that we've risen to the occasion. We've done some things. We're going to continue to do those things. But holidays are coming, and I'm sure that's going to be a tough time for a lot of families based on what many different companies are announcing in the last few days. So we want to try to make it what should be a bright time of year for people. We know it's going to be difficult. So.
Yeah, everything's a bit changed this year. So that I don't forget, I made a note real quick, but obviously, just as a reminder, tomorrow being the first day of October, which sounds kind of crazy, that is Domestic Abuse Awareness Month. And so I know we're going to be speaking to Tammy Douglas and her team over at Help Now. I would, so I'll make it an official invite. Love to have you guys be a part of one of those discussions with us as well. If you could do that, it'd be super.
I would love to do that.
Yeah, those are some good people right there.
I've done the walks with them. One year I had knee surgery, so I couldn't wear heels, but like Fred Hawkins likes to do, and some of those other guys. I wore pink slippers, though. I did wear pink slippers. But
you walk very well when you did wear the heels.
Thank you, Carol.
If I'm correct, there's a picture somewhere. I'll see if we can pull that up before this show is done, or now we could always bring it to the next one. So were you one of the ones in the walking scenario with Help Now? Did you do the hair color thing?
No, I didn't do anything, but no, just pink slippers, I think, was enough for me.
That's funny. Well, so I'll pop it back over to Carolyn, and thank you, Bob, big time. Why don't you introduce the folks, or maybe Carolyn, you introduce one, and Bob introduces one. We got some other folks with us tonight. We're blessed to have.
Okay, Bob, may I go first and introduce one of my favorite people?
Sure.
There's my son-in-law, Peter, down there. Yes.
Hey, you're on a good list tonight, Peter.
And I did not have to twist Peter's arm to join the Sons of Italy. He jumped right in there, didn't you, Peter?
Sure did.
Yes.
In memorable fashion, if I may recount. But I'll wait till your introduction is over if you want to keep saying nice things about me.
I could say about you all night, Peter, and I could tell he loves Italians because obviously he's married to my beautiful daughter Gina.
There you go.
That's right. And right. two of my best friends married Italian women too after I did, and I think they're smart men. Yeah. So we split our time between New York and Florida. We used to do that quite a bit. Now we're kind of more tied to New York for school stuff because our daughter Lucia is 5. But when we first joined a lodge, actually it was in New York City, and it was the Petrosino Lodge, which is based in Little Italy. And it's the memorable start we got. Mom said, "Oh, go down there. They're having a lunch. It's an annual thing. It's a good time. Just go." They meet at the church, and the church is right there, right in the heart of Little Italy. And so we went down there, and it's an old part of town, and it's a little confusing where the entrance was. And we went in. Apparently, we went in the back door of the church, and we kind of came through the back of the church and out onto sort of the behind the altar into the nave of the church. And what Mom neglected to tell us, and Gertrude neglected to tell us, is the day started off with a mass. And we arrived about 10 minutes into mass on the altar. So we thought we would just kind of slip in the side door and check it out and make our way in quietly. And we were literally on stage for everyone. And it was actually the best way it could have happened because Gert came right up to us and sat us down next to her, and then we went and had this amazing lunch with everyone in Little Italy, and everyone already acted like they knew us because they'd seen us enter like that, and we felt at home from the first second. So you talked about, Keith, about the food. Just the welcoming nature of Italians is legendary, and that's what you'll feel in Sons of Italy. You feel like you belong right from the minute you get started, and I think that's what's, for me, the best part of it is Mom talked about the charity element and all that, but I think one of the things Sons of Italy does is recreate the old Italian neighborhoods that used to exist. Mom, you grew up in one in Philly. Dad grew up in one in Brooklyn. Not that many people still live in those neighborhoods like that. Everyone's spread out. So it recreates that where you feel like you've got friends, even though you don't know them that well. You've got friends that you know well and you know over time. And I think, Bob, as you were talking about going into the holidays, one thing that now something like Sons and Daughters of Italy can offer is that sense of being in it together, and yes, we feel that with everyone, I think, right now in our communities, because we are literally all in it together. But I think it gives you that group, it's bigger than your family, but smaller than the town, and where everyone's kind of got each other's back a little bit. So that's what I really like about it. And when we're in Florida, we join in events there, and it's not our home lodge, so we don't know everybody that well, but it's like we do. It's like we're there all the time. So it's just a welcoming attitude is what I think is really special about it and really valuable in a new way for us with everything that's going on today.
Yeah, I think when you were speaking, I was thinking something that hit me earlier. I really think, and I think I even may have mentioned this the last time we got together, but I think like everything happening right now it feels to me, maybe I'm crazy, feels to me that that we're going to really see a huge resurgence of groups like you are members of, because I think the value has been so obvious now. I mean, you hear, no matter who you speak to, people will always seem to say that they're longing to be amongst others. They're longing to be belonging and discovering what others have going on in their lives. And certainly that kind of sharing happens in groups and organizations like yours. So I think you're going to see a huge rubber band type bounce back, you know? So thanks, Peter. Great stuff, man.
Sure.
Bob, I think it's you.
Yeah. As I said earlier, we picked up a few new members, and Debbie is one of our new members. We're about to install her in a couple of weeks, and she's hit the ground running for us. She's been assisting us with our recent raffle fundraiser and different things like that. She saw Carolyn on the last Positively Osceola coffee hour, and she's kind of hit it off, kind of hit the ground running and hit it off. So it's a pleasure to have a new member here tonight. So I'm going to let Debbie take over from there.
Oh, thanks, Bob. Yeah, so like Bob said, I saw this on the last Positively Osceola. So when Carolyn gave her number, I texted her, I called her, I said, can I join? But
Nice.
I'm from Chicago, and when I went to the first lodge meeting on Zoom and I met everybody, I said, I feel like I'm right back in my aunt's basement at a family get together in Chicago. So it felt great.
Wow. That's very cool. Very cool. Someone's singing back there.
Yeah, someone's singing.
It's all good. Hey, it's a casual party tonight, you know? So how does that make you feel, Carolyn, when you see, or any of you? So when you see somebody when somebody comes and says, you know, that reminds me of some of what still resides in my heart when I think of what your organization is about. How does that make you feel?
And that makes me feel great, because that is what we want to get across. That's exactly what we want. You know, like when Debbie said, I feel like I'm in my aunt's basement. I'm like, yes. That means that we have brought forth our friendship. She knows it, even though she's met me and I guess a couple others, but hasn't really met our whole lodge in person, only on Zoom. And she already feels connected to us, right, Debbie?
Yes,
Ready to
thank
yes.
you.
You're welcome. And that's very important. It's like you know, we don't want anybody to ever feel like an outsider, ever. Yeah. As a matter of fact, let me tell you a little bit about Bob. He reminded me how he became a member of the Sons of Italy.
She's got you now, man.
This is how it works. You know, we were at it, and Keith was there, I believe. Keith, were you there? Well, at our networking group.
Yes, I was.
Networking group that we
I remember.
Yeah.
And Bob happened to come in for the first time he was there, and he's like, "My name is Bob Cardesi," and I'm like, "Hello, are you an Italian person?"
It was a vowel giveaway.
And he said, "Yes, I am." I said, "You must come to our meeting. You must come to our Sons of Italy meeting." He goes, "Okay." I don't know. Are you afraid, Bob?
I was a little scared, Keith. I told you. No, I'm just kidding. I did at the time. They were holding meetings at the church at St. Thomas Aquinas, and they had just started to talk about making the move from the church to the senior center, and that has worked out well. I mean, it hasn't worked out very well in the last 6 months, but we've been there. It's been great. It's a great facility. I mean, they treat us right, and it's big. We can go there anytime we want, things like that. So it's really opened us up to do some different things too. So that's been a win-win, making that move from St. Thomas Aquinas Church to the senior center. So that's worked out well.
Yeah.
This might be a good time. This might be a good time for me to play, show that one video of that young lady. Let's see, pull it up real quick. I think I got that handy. So I can pull it off for you guys. And a seamless transition.
I don't know, buddy. I can't hear her, guys.
No, me
No
either,
audio.
Keith.
You can't?
No audio.
That was
Only I can.
There was a seamless transition, but we can't hear.
All right, we'll take care of that. We'll figure out another way to get that.
Okay.
Bob will sing while you get it figured out.
There you go. Well,
Well,
that's unfortunate.
You know,
Oh, sorry, Mia.
I must have slept. No technical difficulties. Well, we'll have that saved for the next time.
Oh,
So, if somebody's interested in joining the group, so why don't you, I mean, we have obviously the information at Sons of Italy-Osceola.org, but why don't you, and probably Bob, why don't you kind of explain how that all works? And, right now with COVID still lingering about, that changes things a tad, but it's not going to be forever. Go ahead, Pete.
Bob, before you do that, if I may, one thing that I think we might want to mention for people before you mention how to join, just to sweeten the pot, is a little overview, because I think we're also familiar with it. We may not, for somebody who doesn't know, just what the calendar looks like. So in general, there's a monthly meeting, right, for every lodge.
right?
And those meetings they're fun, but they're also, do you have the book, Mom? Robert's Rules of Order. I mean, it's a real meeting. So there's actually leadership development as part of it. So if you're in the lodge, you're witnessing a meeting that's held with Robert's Rules of Order to some degree, varying degrees. But there's office holders, and everyone's encouraged to be a part of that and hold an office, and you can run for office. And it's all part of this very friendly social environment, but it's leadership training. You can public speak as part of it if you want. And it's so welcoming. Everyone kind of talks and stands up and talks. So it really has a great benefit on that could be useful for people in developing skills for like young adults or any age that I think are helpful in the workplace and stuff like that. That's part of it. But the real heart and soul of it, I think, are the social events, because it's really a social. I mean, we talked about the charity, we've talked about these other things and the feeling of belonging, but it's really a social club where the events that raise money for charity are fun. And that's everyone hanging out, getting together. Like in the Petrosino Lodge in New York, there's the disco dance party is the hit of the year every year. But then there's at least quarterly, there's some big event. There's a lot of planning for that and getting ready and selling tickets and the charity piece and then the food. And they're just really fun. And that's where everyone hangs out and their friends come and stuff like that. So I think that's important for people to realize. Like there's a real range in the kinds of events. None of them are mandatory or obligatory. But they're all really fun, and you feel like you have this connection of part of something that, they say Starbucks is like the third place. That's not work and not home. Well, Sons and Daughters of Italy is the fourth place, right? Because it's not home, it's not work, but it's like you belong, and there's activities and stuff going on and stuff like that. So I just wanted to get that out there because I don't think we made that clear before, Bob, you talk about like, okay, if you're interested in joining, how to join. If you're interested in joining, you could call me. I can put my number up there if you'd like. It's 774-406-7037. It's a Massachusetts number. I never get rid of it. You can reach us through the website. But the way it would work now is we basically doing everything through email. We would have you do your application to us. We'd have you do your first year membership dues, that kind of thing, which is it's $50 a year to join us. But it's money that we give back. There's nothing, we are supporting this and that. We just want to do a good job for the community. And we have some expenses within our organization. I mean, we meet at the senior center, but we have to pay to meet at the senior center. We have we have a Grand Lodge that we pay like a dues to, so that we have, we get newsletter and other information from them, some of the other social things that are going on, and that helps us to kind of keep our members informed. So it would basically right now be through email, and I think, Debbie, that's what we did with you, is we emailed you an application, I believe. It was either myself or Caroline or Tony, and we were able to, to get people on board like that. So that's pretty much it right now. And then, there's usually an installation that goes along with that, but because of COVID, we haven't been able to do that. So
a delayed installation.
Delayed, pretty much.
I tell you, we are super blessed to be able to meet just a huge amount of people on a weekly basis. We really get to communicate with a ton of folks, and so often they ask us, so what can we do? What organizations are out there that we can kind of help? What kind of nonprofits are needing help? And people are unsure because of the nature of COVID-19. They're not sure if organizations are still doing things, and and it's a time when the need is greater than ever, but people are somewhat hesitant. Funds are a tad tighter than they might typically always be. But what we hear people ask is, we want to be able to help. I've got some spare time. I want to help, but I don't know anybody. So it's that tough thing of walking into even a food distribution, or something as simple as going down to the Osceola Heritage Park and helping keep people hydrated because they're going to be out on asphalt for 10 hours. I think it's hard for one person to do that, but I think the win in joining an organization like yours, and you're already plugged into helping, is they get to be with others when that help,
Right.
and that hand is being out there. It's a great way to find other ways to help, because there are organizations that are doing that, and you don't have to do all the heavy lifting. So, or you might be a little shy and don't want to walk up to something you don't know. So, Carolyn, anything else on your mind while we're chatting away?
I was going to say how I got involved with the Sons of Italy, if that's okay.
Please.
It's 36 years that I've been involved in this. And we actually, my husband worked at Disney, and he said, my boss, Bob, I'm not going to say his name, Bob, wants to join the Sons of Italy, and they are having a wine and cheese and a karaoke. Now, remember, that's 36 years ago, membership drive. So let's all go and see what it's all about. So, needless to say, we went to the karaoke and I didn't sing, the wine and the cheese, and Tony and I joined, but his boss never joined. So here we are, 36 years later. We are still members. His boss never joined. So, but now he wants to, and it's like, okay, well, you can join now. But it's been a wonderful treat for me, because eventually I became president of that Orlando Lodge, and then I was president of. I wasn't president yet, Bob, at Osceola, but that'll happen. But then I went all the way up the ranks for the national. I did the deputy. There's so many positions that you have to go through. And when I was running for first VP and second VP and president, of course, my family was 100% behind me, telling me, go ahead, you can do this, you can do this. And when I became the president of the state of Florida, it had to be one of the biggest highlights of my life. And I did it for 4 years. It was the nicest 4 years I could truly say I ever had. And it was such a great experience for me. And so I feel everybody would feel that way. Everybody feels that way about the Sons of Italy. I hope anyway, that the way I love it so much. So it's such a part of my life. I mean, 36 years, and look, I'm only 40. All right. So,
41.
But that's how I got started, and I can't even imagine being without the Sons of Italy at this point. It's all my friends, every friend I have is a member. So Keith, that'll be you next, Keith. You have to join.
Love it, and that's a testimony right there, right?
Yes.
Well, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. So it is. I mean, life is I think the older I've gotten, the faster, or the more accurate all the sayings are in life, and so I think it's great to hear people who care about things, care about each other, and find passion still in their lives. So it's a big deal. Anybody else want to share something before we nod it out for the night?
Mom, when you were just talking about that, remind me of another level we haven't discussed, which is the national level, because we've joined you and Dad at the national convention.
Yes.
And once in Philly and once in DC. And that's a whole nother level. It's super fun. And I know there's two parts to that, right? There's the convention that we just tagged along to, but there's lots of activities there. It's like it's in a different city every other year?
Yes, every other year.
Every other year, okay. And so that's for officers at the state level. Again, you can just add up, it can build up to stuff, but it's cool to know that there's this whole other level to it as well. And then there's the gala, that's like the charity piece of it, that's big name people, right? Like especially in DC, but they give the National Foundation gives awards to individuals of Italian descent who are, I mean, there's the household names, right? Like that they've given it to.
Yes.
Politicians and media people and and veterans and stuff like that. So it's really cool. So it starts, it's as down home as a barbecue, you know, on the weekend someplace, to all the way to gala events in big cities like that, and then everything in between. So it's just, there's a whole structure, and every time the hallmark is always just people, just the congenial attitude and just the love of, like, again, it's like your Italian neighborhood. At the highest level and at the lowest level. It's super fun.
Yes,
That's
is.
it.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I appreciate you all being a part of this tonight. Certainly, I know Bob and Carolyn. I've known you guys for a good amount of time, and I get to call you friends. And Peter and Debbie, I get to call you new friends. So it's an honor for me. And so I guess we'll call it. But I hope that we can do this again very soon. If you would honor us again to do that. I look forward to it. Today I got up, I knew I was going to be talking to you guys tonight. So looking forward to it.
I want to thank you for helping.
I think my
work with us and that kind of thing. I mean, you've been great. So
I
really appreciate your professionalism and the way you've handled things for our lodge and things like that. And I'm still getting comments about how well I did with my 4 or 5 minute video, and but we did really well with that, and I appreciate that.
Well, I think that's the cue to run it again tomorrow morning. Why not? And I was very serious about the getting together in October.
No, I would love to be part of that.
Oh yes.
Count on it. Yeah, count on it.
That tomorrow night?
No, I'm going to wait. I'm going to speak to Tammy Douglas, who's the executive director of Help Now, and we'll figure out a night. But I'll give you plenty of notice. At least an hour.
Okay. Perfect.
Peter, I think that's what Peter got. Peter got like 30 minutes. Somehow it just happens.
We're always ready. We're always ready.
I tell you, it all works out in the end. So again, thank you guys.
Thank you, Keith.
Certainly, Bob, Aaron, Peter, Debbie, thanks so much. I had a
thank you, Debbie and Carolyn. Thank you.
Thank you.
So when everything kind of relaxes, when we can all get together in more of an in-person scenario and break out some of that fine Italian cuisine as we have a discussion. Who knows? Never know. All right.
Excellent plan.
Thanks again, you guys, very, very much. Again, this is Keith with Positively Osceola, along with the Sons and Daughters of Italy in America. Together, we're making a positive difference in and around Osceola County. Have a good night, you guys.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.
Bye.